Reflective Journal Week 6, Tuesday the 9th of May 2017. Today's tasks: annotate focus group results, complete another location recce, complete another call sheet. A strength about having more than one location recce and call sheet is that we could have one for our other locations, and so to let our cast know when they needed to be where and when. This was a strength because it let me, my cast and crew know what was available to them at each location. The call sheet would let my cast know where they needed to be and when, and what time roughly we would finish on that day. The location recce would let me know what available light there is, if it's natural light or studio light, what plug sockets there are if we need to plug in studio lights or other equipment, and it also allows us to know roughly where we're going by a map and what layout it is, so where we can plan to film in that room. A problem I encountered while doing this was that I wasn't sure on how many plug sockets I had in my room, but I knew I had quite a few extension cords that I could use. I was able to overcome this problem by estimating how many I had in my room and how many were downstairs in our living room for when we filmed there, as I know we have extensions available in the house to plug in. Another problem I encountered while doing the call sheet was that we weren't sure who was going to be our main actress until a few days before, as we had a setback with filming because our actress needed to get her hair cut. I was able to overcome this problem by talking to her and sorting out a set date to film at college and film at my house, so she would come to mine, and we had that planned in advance. To develop my work further, I need to improve the way I complete my call sheet, as I didn't write about props or anything, or like sound equipment, because our thing was all narration, voiceover, so I need to improve on that. I can improve this by, I can develop my work by having a look back and seeing what parts needed to be changed and put into more detail, as it lacked detail and couldn't be read as clearly or have the right amount of information it could have had. By doing this task, I've learned how to, I've revisited and relearned how to complete a location recce and call sheet, as I hadn't used those for a few projects, as other people in my group had been doing them. I have learnt how to do them properly, as when I did do them for most of the projects, I had not done them to the best of my ability. My next step is to continue with experimenting and get ready to film. Wednesday the 10th of May 2017. Today's tasks: complete editing experiment, Wednesday the 10th of May 2017. Today's tasks: complete production meeting, write up reflective journal, and continue with experiments. A strength of completing the production meeting was that we got signed off, and were the first group to be signed off, so we could get on with filming. This was a strength because now we can start filming and move on with the project, so we can be in time for our deadline. A strength of completing the experiments is that it allows us to have a practice before actually getting on with the final product itself. It's a strength because it allows us to have a look back and refresh our memories on what we need to do. A problem I encountered while doing this was that we had a gap of a week where we weren't sure of what we were going to do, because we hadn't planned to film for a week because our actress couldn't be there on the day we were originally going to film. So we had a week gap from being signed off to filming. So we had to improvise and say we were going to work on paperwork, not really paperwork, but little upgrades and tweaks that we needed to do before, that counted as being signed off, and also a few parts of reflective journals and the last of the experiments. This was sorry. This was a problem because it left us with a big amount of time. I was able to overcome this by having the week to go over things that I needed to do and having a bit of a calm moment before we started filming, as the paperwork stage is stressful and the filming stage will be stressful. So it was just sort of a calm stage where we could just do a few reflective journal pieces and also experiments. To develop my work further, I need to improve on my detail I include in my reflective journals, as I didn't have the right amount, but I also had just enough, so it explained everything I'd done. I can develop my work by using more time and also more paragraphs. I can write more. By doing this task, I have learnt how to successfully attend and carry out a production meeting, whilst also learnt how to relearn skills and try and keep them in my mind. My next step is to start filming and continue with experiments, whilst also looking over reflective journals and paperwork. Thursday the 11th of May 2017. Today's tasks: complete adjustments to paperwork, carry out experiment 4, set dressing, and write up a reflective journal about experiment 4. A strength of experiment 4, the set dressing experiment we done, was that it allowed Neve to have a go at practicing sorting out how she wanted the set to look. As a set dresser, this was her main task throughout the production, as well as making sure the cast looked good during production. She had to make the set in the video look like a office for a hospital, and she had to make it look like someone was getting counselling, so sort of an office with a desk and computer to let people know what, like a little desk where you can talk to the person over a few things. This was a strength because it allowed her to have a go at making it look like that set, so then she knew what she wanted the rest of the sets to look like, or wanted that set to look like when we came to recording FMP clips. A problem we encountered while doing this was people kept walking in and out the room, and there were people outside laughing and making noise. So we were able to overcome this problem by putting a sign on the door asking people not to come in and asking people outside to be quiet. So then we had a good level to work with, and we had enough space and time, so we didn't feel like we were being rushed. To develop my work further, I need to improve on the amount of clips we got as it sort of went a bit fast, and I could also improve the amount of locations we could have gone to do more sets we could have dressed instead of just the office set. I can do this by getting out a camera, going back and asking Neve if we can take a look at some more sets to carry out. By doing this task, I've learnt how to dress a set as well as Neve has. I've learnt how to make the set look how we want it and envision it. My next step is to use this in my FMP product. Friday the 12th of May 2017. Today's tasks: record all audio, update reflective journals, and edit website. Today me and Neve spent 2 hours, about 2 hours, recording all our audio for our voiceover in our FMP product. We had to record her speaking parts, which were the main character's voiceover, and also a few parts of mine for the end clip where we wanted to inform people about helplines available. The strength of recording all our audio now is that we could see if we needed to record any more when it comes to having all our clips in place, and also knowing what we could do and when. This was a strength because it allowed us to get a head start on recording FMP, because not many people had started yet, and we didn't want to waste a whole week not just doing other bits of work. We wanted to get on with our FMP, so we recorded all our audio today. A problem I encountered while doing this task was that we couldn't find a room, and when we did find a room there was sort of a rumble in the background, which we tried to cover as best we could with the pop guard. I was able to overcome this by, as I said, using a pop guard and making sure the room was quiet enough with no people around. To develop my work further, I need to improve the volume of us speaking, as when we listened back we were quite quiet, and we would in future have to redo these sounds, these voiceovers. I can develop my work by having to re-record and have a look back, speak louder, and complete that. By doing this task, I've learnt how to successfully record audio, even though parts of it were quiet. I've learnt that our audio and script works well with with the message we want to get across. My next step is to film the clips to go along with this, so we can start editing it all together.